Okay, everybody, I'm with Kevin Coulter, my sales director with the Cari Ann Carter Group. Good morning, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing, Cari Ann?
It's a beautiful day.
It
Super
is.
excited about this weekend. We're moving into the first week of June, probably going to be one of the busiest months of the year. And from all the chatter I'm hearing, Kevin, and you tell me what you think, I think we're definitely going to be seeing a very strong second half. It's really
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's been pretty busy so far, up until now. And it's been a wet spring. Looking outside, it looks pretty beautiful today. So, and I think we're going to start getting some warm weather next week. So maybe summer will finally arrive.
It's very tropical here right now.
Yeah, everything.
Lots of water. Okay, so I want to talk today about, Kevin, what your role is and what you're doing right now with the team members as we have been recruiting on the team with our business model. I want to share with everyone how you benefit in such an extraordinary way with each individual that we're onboarding and why we're different from our competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with us is just that full service concierge. A lot of our business is referrals, who we know. And it's just a little bit different than your typical team where you're, you know, working Zillow leads and calling on buyers and showing them properties. You know, we're a listing heavy team here, and puts the agents in front of a ton of opportunity with our open houses.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got what 15 active now,
Yeah, we're onboarding
and
five more.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy weekends with opens, a few lake properties, some pool homes. So it just gives the agents, something a little bit different. And then of course my job is to, number one, bring that positive energy every day.
And you do.
Lead by
Kevin's
Yeah,
probably one of the most
lead by
positive
example.
people I know. You're an incredible personality, Kevin. Just
So I appreciate that.
pure love in the
And
heart there.
yeah, just it can be a tough job and a lot of grind sometimes. So keeping that positive energy around is super important. And just being there for the team, leading and coaching and mentoring. Leading by example is kind of my motto. And one of my characteristics, as all the team knows, is I will be in the trenches with them if they need me, whether
And we
that's,
are. Yeah.
Sunday morning door knocking after we closed on a house, helping them build out a landing page on our CRM for marketing purposes, whether it be an open house or a door knocking marketing piece or a mailer. The twice a week call sessions are fun, get the team in, make the hard less hard,
Mm-hmm.
and just pick up the phone and start calling on your sphere, or calling on the for sale by owners. Good story yesterday, as you know, Cari Ann, one of our new agents, got his first listing,
Mm-hmm.
and that was in part of our one of our call sessions about 2 months ago.
Right.
It was a cold call. Called an investor that owns some investment property, and the owner, was thinking about selling one of them. 4 appointments later, we got paperwork signed, and he got his first listing, which is pretty exciting. A
And
luxury
more
listing.
importantly, what's the price point, Kevin, on that listing?
That one's 1.85 lake home with a pool.
So I want to talk about
So that
three
was,
things today on that front, Kevin, because I think at the forefront of all of this is how the formula with CACG has elevated the average sale price of the team. What is the average sale price in the Twin Cities right now in terms of the standard average for the volume when a realtor goes out and sells real estate? Their average sale price typically is at around what?
Well, depending on what stats you look at, it could be 385 to 420,
Right.
whether you're an average median or what part of the Twin Cities. Ours is well over 600 here.
Mhm.
Two of our agents are one's at 850 and one's over a million on average unit per house. So that's pretty exciting.
And we do
And
have one
a
team
good
member.
example
I
is,
think we have one
you
team
know,
member right now that's at 1.8 million, if I recall.
yeah, yeah. 1.8 is our average, and
Mhm.
another one's at about 850.
3 points that are really important. It's going to be average sale price. It's going to be how they build their funnel, how critical that is, and how we support each other as a team. Because as an individual out there right now, it's so lonely as a business if you don't have that team support. And in order to have the backup that people need to be able to hold pause, because this business never stops ever. So, as it relates to building the funnel, Kevin, when you're advising the team, because you meet with each team member every week, which is so incredible. Nobody does that one-on-one coaching model. What does that do for the team member in your mind when you're helping them build their funnel?
Well, I think first and foremost, it lends an ear that listens to what they want.
Hmm.
So our one-to-ones we have an agenda that we start out with, and we go over our production tracker and kind of what's in the hopper and what's pending and what's closed. But, I always ask the agents, what do they want to get out of the one-to-ones? Is it a door knocking effort that I ride along with? Is it attending an open house and trying to, help with conversion? Is it, sitting with them and, putting building out a landing page with the QR code and strategizing, some kind of whether it be a marketing plan or a drip campaign, and then, working to implement that. So I think that's the biggest thing they get out of it is just, they know that I'm here for them. They know that I will do whatever they want to move the needle. Sometimes it's thinking outside the box is something they haven't necessarily thought about before.
Right.
We do a lot of calls to the, for sale by owner, for rent by owner, and have a great success with that. So it's just really kind of catering to what, they're really looking for. And then of course, I give my 2 cents on, what I'm seeing from outside,
Hmm.
and give them some advice on, have you thought about this, or have you tried this, or it's just a little bit of, kick in the pants, so to speak. It's like, remember those two people we met on Sunday? I know you called them and you had a great conversation with them after we met, but let's call them again and get this house in front of them that just came on the market, just kind of stuff like that. Just really catering to what they're really looking for as an agent, and to, give them some advice and some ideas on something they haven't thought about before.
So fundamentally, Kevin, when we talk about funnel building, it's really about helping people, putting our message in front of everybody we know, love, and trust, whether they are people that we're engaging in for the very first time and we are trying to gain their trust to help them through a major life transition, or somebody that's been a part of a team member or our team's ecosystem for a very long time. Fundamentally, the core value system of the work we're doing is helping people through life transition. And in doing so, we need to be able to support many facets of what that means, right? So, in the build out of CACG, with the design and build background and just the years of relationship building, one of the critical parts I felt was so needed in a market, especially now that is so lacking service. That customer service, one on one, problem solving, solution based thinking. That is a skill set that is trainable. it's not organic in a lot of people, but it is possible to learn it and to have a support mechanism around you that supports that speak and allows for that ecosystem to organically be there fundamentally is the why behind this work that I'm passionate about, right? So in bringing Kevin on board, obviously there's only 24 hours in the day, and helping people is time intensive, as we both know. So Kevin comes from a background, 20 plus years of running a national leasing company organization. We can talk about that a little bit if you want to. Very forefront thinking around problem solving and coming up with solutions for people. So when we bring a new agent into whether they're seasoned and have been with a company for a long time or literally brand new, what do you think the number one uh, support mechanism that's most valuable to that agent is based on how we're hardwired, how we're designed? Long
Well, that's,
way to talk about that.
yeah, that pretty easy answer is, basically we bring them in and we show them, you know, real transactions that happen, show them the video testimonials of our clients, you know, just bring them into, like, we can explain the how, and then show them, you know, from start to finish how that happened, and you know how that person went from having no idea what to do, 20 years living in the house, full of junk, no idea where they're going to go. Um, you know, that to show that from start to finish and show the agents like how that happened, that is powerful.
It is powerful.
That is extremely powerful to show, you know, the steps involved. And we have kind of that plug and play, right? Which is so great. It's like, you know, you meet someone at an open house and they, you know, they're downsizing, and they're moving, you know, across the city to be closer to their grandkids. And they've been thinking about moving for years, but every time they think about it,
You're
thought
overwhelmed.
just stops. It's just too
Yeah.
overwhelming. And you know, you show the agents how to work with these people, and a lot of it is experience. It's the experience that you know, you've done and the team has done over the years, and those experiences are powerful, especially when the agents start having them themselves, and now
Mhm.
they have an experience that they can talk about,
Right.
that really is relatable to a lot of people when you're meeting someone, you know, at an open house, for example, and you just transacted with someone and had a beautiful story helping this person from A to Z. And
Right.
now you can share that with this person, and it's extremely relatable
Hmm.
to people. And that is the power, I think, of onboarding a new agent and just getting them into our ecosystem and showing them the plug and play and how this really works. You know, whether it's you know, on the listing side from our listing launches and how we work with you know, our cleaners and our packers and our declutters and our storage people, our movers and our stagers and designers and our photography and our video shoots and our open houses and the events we create around our open houses, and just show them how all that works
Hmm.
is pretty powerful. Getting new agents out to opens is really fun. You know, sometimes when they're you know, deciding to come on the team, it's great to get them out to an open just to have them
Right.
experience kind of one of our champagne open events that we do, and you know, listen to a lot of the stories that we've done in the past is really powerful. So
So that's number two. We are first and foremost, when we begin this process, wanting to elevate their transactional experience. So they're being put into and in front of opportunities that are meaningful to the client and also helping them elevate their relationships moving forward throughout their career. That's really at the forefront. And then building out experiences that allow them to meet people in an environment that really is a business card, if you will, to the work that we do. The design, the staging, and the marketing that we're doing that's highly curated is truly something that is hard to replicate as an individual. You know, it really requires a team, and building that team takes many years to do, to find the right people. It's like a chessboard, if you will, or a puzzle, right? And it's able to elevate you as an independent who's trying to um, figure out your way in terms of how you're helping these sellers get a better outcome, make more money for their product, and how do you teach them to do that? But separately, when you're supporting the buyers out there, coaching your buyer and helping them seek out and solve for what they're trying to accomplish, which isn't necessarily, you know, a public product, right? We are literally building out a methodology to seek out solutions for buyers out there. And we're teaching each team member how to do that. And it's successfully. A lot of the work we do ends up being private. Let's talk about the private and the why behind it, because we often get that question, don't we, Kevin? Like, why do people sell privately? And how do you do that? How do we do that?
Yeah. Well, Edina has a great network of over, 2,200 agents, and we have our network one, which is our database for off-market buyer needs and pre-lists. And there's a lot of reasons why, people sit in that database and aren't on the MLS. It could be that they're, doing a small renovation in the basement, and they need to move for a job, and they don't want to wait till the basement's finished, so they want to get it pre-marketed and get it out to our network.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful, for sure. Like you said, we do a lot of transactions with our off-market stuff, but it's great for both buyers and sellers. A buyer who's been struggling, and we meet a buyer at one of our opens, and they've been looking for, and they're frustrated with the inventory, and they know exactly what they want. So we just kind of tap into our off market stuff and keep an eye out. And if something comes up, we have a buyer match for it. And same with the pre-list with the sellers. It's like, hey, let's get this pre-marketed. I know it's going to be about 3 weeks before you're finished with your basement renovation, but let's get it marketed internally, and get it out to our 2,200 agents, and hopefully we have a buyer. And a lot of times we already know we have a match in our head. So when we're visiting with people, we be like, this would be a great fit. I have a buyer, that would love to come in and see it.
So for those that don't know, and this is for the buyers and sellers out there as well that aren't maybe looking to sell real estate but are curious about how this works, it is a big piece of our market. 40%, Kevin, of our city, our state, and our nation are empty nesting right now. It's a transition that's more powerful than it's ever been. And that means they've been in their home for 20 plus years. And the complexity behind helping them, for them personally, until they are wrapped with our hug and our team to help them through the steps, which we're doing every single day. Um, they have, it needs time. It takes time to elevate their space in a way that we can go ahead and publicly market it, right? They would say public must be perfect. So, on that front, that's where the opportunity to privately network happens. We get about 100 emails a week on both buyer needs and agents reaching out to us because they know we do a lot of networking. Considered one of the top networkers in the Twin Cities in the state. And that's Lakeshore up north to metro urban real estate, all of it. And what happens in that is it's like a puzzle. We're putting pieces together again, and we find a buyer that's a match for that listing. And it is a good part of how we help people find that perfect thing. We've done letter writing, we've done postings on LinkedIn, we've had buyer situations that are highly unique. So we're being very specific about what our need is and targeting areas by door knocking, letter writing. There's all kinds of ways that we support that as a team owner and support management team for our agents to help them help their clients. I think that's so powerful and so rare. It's a lot of work, right? It's that extra step. And in a world where people are just checking boxes, Kevin, I think we both agree we see a lot of that out there, and leveling up and really doing that extra work and going that extra mile for people is the why behind the success. That it's the work behind I call it the grit and the grind of the business that is what seems surface level very glittery and glamorous, when in fact moving is hard for people. And we take as much pain out of it as possible, but what people really need is to be supported. And that's what we do. So, and that's what we do for the team, or we try every single day. So, on that note, I'd also like to talk about, there's so much to this. Like, we could talk for hours, couldn't we? About the
Yeah.
internal systems and the support. We've got Pamela K. Williams, our client care manager. The touch points from the point of transaction to the point of closing are well over 200 now. It's remarkable what is required behind the scenes to help people transact. It's quite a dynamic process to support people. So the management behind the scenes is something that needs to be experienced. I'd like to talk about the relationships we're building, because we are in Minnesota and it's cold here, and warmth is on the minds of many, especially in an aging demographic, both locally and nationally. So talk to us, because you have personal integral connection with your licensing and your background, Kevin, with our warm climate partners. So explain to everybody how we can support our agents as they want to build out those relationships in those climates as well. What are we doing?
Yeah. So I'm licensed in Arizona, Florida, and Colorado, as well as Minnesota. And I started my real estate career in 2012 in Florida at Berkshire Hathaway, and met a lot of great people there. And Edina Realty just opened up a brick and mortar office last year in Naples, Florida, which is pretty exciting for us.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of their first one outside the Midwest here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a brick and mortar, small world, but they opened up the brick and mortar in the same building that I worked at Berkshire Hathaway in 2012.
Kind of cool.
So it was fun. I'm glad I kept my CE credits current, because it was easy to activate it again. But yeah, just having that connection down there. One of our new agents that just started kind of had a 5-year plan of, eventually moving to Florida and doing real estate down there. He had his real estate license down there a while back. He used to live in Florida. So that was kind of a, really probably the icing on the cake with coming on board with us. I mean, everything else was great, and obviously he came on board and has never experienced kind of that elevated experience that we give. But having that office in Florida and knowing that we have connections, both you, Cari Ann, and myself, we have those client connections down there. That was pretty exciting for him
Mm-hmm.
to be like, wow, I could actually make this dream come true
Yeah.
with the Cari Ann Carter Group. So that's pretty exciting, and we have a couple active buyers and a seller right now, and a big project we're working on down there on Fort Myers Beach. And a lot of Edina agents are down there in the wintertime and up here in the summer, which, when I was in Florida, I met a couple Minnesota guys that did the same thing. They'd winter down there and transact and do real estate down there, and then they would come up here in the summer and transact and do real estate up here. So it was kind of like, you're retired, but you're not retired.
Yeah.
You're living the retired life, but you're still working and making money, which is fun. And helping people.
Right.
A lot of our clients, the Minnesota Florida connection, are the baby boomers that are retiring and looking for that beach home or that Florida lifestyle, but yet still have a place here to come back in the summer. That's a big part
Right.
of our clientele.
Well, and
So,
that's why we did it. We knew that's the future. Southwest Florida is like a mini Minnesota. For those that don't know
yeah,
that, it is just loaded with Minnesota. It is Minnesota and
yeah, a
South.
little more laid back.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little more laid back on the west side of Florida than on the east side. But yeah, a lot of Minnesotans, a lot of Midwesterners love that laid back style of the Southwest coast. So
Hmm. Really nice. And then just out of fairness, because we have people that don't want to be in Florida, so we have our relationship built in Arizona as well.
mm,
And
yep,
Scottsdale's a heavy-handed play, but we have a number, really, so many um, partners to help us with our Arizona work that we're wanting to do and will continue to do. So the premise behind that is really servicing the client again. We're just taking the brand and implementing the exact rinse and repeat, the exact same service level, service minded, service focused model, and bringing it so we have all those same relationships in these ecosystems so we can take what we've built over the last 25 years and continue on. So it really is a cool opportunity for agents that are looking for a growth model that has longevity and are looking for a support mechanism that will really service their client in an elevated and unique way that you're not seeing as much anymore. Because there is a cost, a pay to play, right, Kevin? I mean, all these things cost money for people, and supporting on that level requires a village, a team. And so, in order to be really highly efficient and um, highly curated, you have to have a team to do that. You can't do it alone.
yeah, correct.
You know, it's really hard to do it alone. So, what would be your number one takeaway in your recruitment effort with this model and what you're seeing out there? If you were to for those that are thinking about making a career change or have been on the fence about making a broker change with all the different you know, moving parts in the industry right now. What would you say is the place where they struggle, where they're stuck right now in determining what their path is?
I think most of what I hear is, they see what we're doing. They've been doing kind of the same thing year after year after year, and not getting a lot of traction. Not getting a lot of, there's just, I don't want to say that they just kind of get stuck in the rut, but they kind of do. It's just the same thing kind of over and over. There's no challenges anymore. Um, you know, when they come on and they see kind of what they're doing, and they're seeing this, very elevated experience that very few people are doing, it's kind of like a wow. It's like it really opens up their eyes, and it's like, I've heard of this, but I was never really sure, how exactly it works. And
Mm.
I think that's the biggest thing, is just seeing it from another light and coming in and experiencing, this white glove service and this really elevated experience that we're giving, to really see how it's done from start to finish, is kind of like the eye opener.
Really
And like,
is.
wow, this is how it works. And Cari Ann, you remember my colleague Bill out in Arizona, when he came up and he spent 3 days with us,
Mm-hmm.
and we did all of our opens that weekend and had him in the office, and I was kind of showing him, like, how we plug and play this, and he was, more than once telling me, Kevin, this is wow. This is impressive. And it is. It's very impressive what the Cari Ann Carter Group has built over the years and what it's become. It's pretty cool to see that. And I think that is really, kind of what agents are seeing is just, wow, I can do something different to get out of this rut. I've been doing this kind of over and over, and not really getting anywhere. And, then you plug yourself into the system we have here, and it's just a really different experience. An extremely on a level that they've just never
Right.
been part of before. Yeah.
Well, I always say to the clientele out there, because our world, we're just going to put it out there. This whole commission thing has really media and the world, they want to glom on. Like anytime there's an opportunity to take a situation and elevate and blow it out of proportion, they do. So fundamentally, what's really changed out there is how you're compensating disclosure. Like, how are you visually defining how a buyer broker, in this case, if you're a listing broker, is being compensated? We are steady as she goes. Nothing has changed. Why? Because our value base and the service level is so elevated, and the understanding fundamentally of how critical it is to the seller, because that's where it begins, right? There's nothing to buy if a owner's not selling their home. It begins and ends with the seller and the listing. And if you fundamentally understand the why behind this and what we do for a living, we're helping a seller through one of the most difficult, that's right up there with divorce and death, right? And marriage. I mean, buying homes for people and selling homes is very stressful. So we have created and curated a very customized plan for each individual story. And we go in and we say, okay, we assess the situation, we figure out what the support team is, and we help them through the steps. The compensation as part of all of this is the least of their problems when they're done, because the elevated outcome of the sale is so significant, so powerful, that that just melts away, you know? It's like the difference between going to Mayo Clinic, I say, when you've got a situation, and going to your local, you know, doctor in the neighborhood, or going to a mechanic that's a veteran and been fixing automobiles for 40 years, and somebody who just came out of school and is at the local, you know, car shop. You could go on and on. Attorneys, doctors, you could go on and on. Really, fundamentally, what we're talking about is an industry of professionals that offers and articulates a service that helps them make as much value as much as they can off of this asset that they've had, just like a stock. And for the buyers, seeking out what will serve their life for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years of their life. So we take it extremely seriously, and we're willing to put in the extra hours and the time and invest in our, not only our agents, but our clients both, in a way that's very rare these days in my mind. So I
Yeah,
just really
I
wanted to
agree.
share you, Kevin, because there's not many Kevins in the world, my friends. He's a unique, um, asset to you. If you're looking for an opportunity to really truly advance and you're willing to put the work in, most importantly, there is no better way to find success than having a support team with Kevin as part of it. So really, really cool. Is there anything else you want to share today?
Well, just I'll end it with kind of adding to what you said and how important that customer service is. You know, a lot of agents that are coming to me are, you know, saying again that it's the whole stuck in the rut thing. You know, I've been doing this and I feel like I'm just so transactional, and I'm not getting much out of it. And what is my purpose? You know, the people that are coming on our team are really the people that first and foremost want to give great customer service. They want to help people.
Mhm.
And that's kind of been, you know, my motto my whole life is, in my personality is, you know, you treat people with respect, and you give them just the best customer experience ever. And the money follows. You
Right.
know, a lot of my clients, when I first, you know, when you first start working with a client, the first thing out of their mouth is the money. How much does it cost?
Mm-hmm.
And then you start working with them and they start realizing like, wow, this is a great experience. You know, I out of this person, which like you said is pretty much it's disappearing. It's sad.
It
But
is.
as you know, build that rapport and that relationship, the whole money thing goes away.
Mhm.
It's not even an issue. Like you said, it's the least of their worries. Once you start kind of diving in and start problem solving for them, and they start seeing the
The value.
tunnel, and they trust the process and see the process that it's working.
Mm.
You know, the whole money thing goes away. You know, so that's important. That's we really want team members that first and foremost just love people, love helping people, love giving great customer, you know, um, a great customer experience. You know, that customer service that's just kind of unfortunately going away in this world.
Mm.
That's really who we're looking for, because if that happens, the money will just follow. You know, um,
That's how it
and
works.
I think that's what
Yeah.
we yeah, and I think that's what we do really well. Is we really give that 5-star service and really exceptional customer service, because you know we care. So
Brilliant. So if you have been considering a career change, or you're looking at options out there that you've been in this business for a very long time and you're looking for a different kind of business model that will help support your growth, give Kevin Coulter, the sales director of CACG, a call, and he'd be happy to chat with you. Kevin Coulter, everybody. Kevin, it is always a delight to visit with you. I really appreciate it. I cannot wait for you out there, audience, if you've been considering a career change or you've been thinking about a different path in terms of where you are in the world of real estate right now and what you'd like your future to be, then Kevin Coulter is your man, the sales director of CACG. Thank you so much, Kevin. I really appreciate your time today.
you're welcome. Thank you, Cari Ann.
And by the way, don't forget to click and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch all of our podcast shows, all of our lifestyle and listing videos. We will see you next time on Fly the Coop. Thank you.